Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Come on and shine your light, shine your light, shine your light, shine your light. Come on, shine your light. Come on, shine the light within. Come on, shine the light within you. Come on, shine the light within you. Yeah. Come on and shine your light.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am so excited about my next guest, who is an international business coach. She is really an expert around the areas of personal leadership, business strategy, and money mastery. Please welcome to the show, Vanessa Shaw. Hello, my love.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you, and
thank
you look
you.
stunning and fabulous. It's really a joy to have you here.
No, thank you.
And I personally have had a chance to really see you in action, delivering really phenomenal, really powerful tools and techniques to help people in their business from a very authentic place, a very empowered place, being very bold and playing bigger. Yes?
Absolutely.
I love that. It's really, really delicious. So tell me a little bit about your journey, your personal journey, to stepping up into such a role. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, it's like where to begin,
Wow.
right? Everyone always says, how did you start? And
Yeah.
what were the stages? And, the truth is, and that's, I spoke about that really at my events, and I think it's the starting place for so many of us. It's responding to what I call those seeds of desire within us.
Yes, really key.
Really was. And I know I went into it quite depth there, but I just had this restlessness, these rumblings, and they were with me permanently. I mean, only now looking back, I could say they were the seeds of desire. 'Cause
Sure.
honestly, back then, Orgena,
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
What's
really?
going on?
What's going on
Yeah,
here?
sure.
And it was this desire for more and to really be doing something that was going to create a difference, that was going to be impactful.
Sure.
It wasn't just, I'm just going to go out and do anything and keep myself busy. It's like,
Right.
what is that piece?
A sense of purpose.
A real sense of purpose. And so it was responding to that. I mean,
Yeah.
my business looks very different today than it did back then.
Sure.
Like with most businesses, they evolve and they
Absolutely.
keep going through these different stages. But it was responding to that initially and saying, I want more
Yes.
for my life. I want to do something that's impactful, that I feel passionate about, that's meaningful.
Yes.
Where I can learn and grow as well, because that's
Yes.
it's sort of an addiction as well. It's like I can't stop learning and growing.
Yeah, but I think that's the whole nature of evolving, of evolution. We're always, wanting to go higher and deeper and learn more, grow.
Yeah, and I just...
It's growth.
Growth, it's
Yeah.
growth. And I can't help that. That's
Sure.
such a part of who I am. So I needed to be able to respond to that.
Yes.
And really the turning point, I mean, there were some key turning points that really, created the Be Bold, Play Bigger piece. 'Cause
Yes.
that was another, a huge evolution when I was, coaching senior leaders and business people in Europe. I had some fabulous contracts, wonderful, wonderful clients. And here I am coaching them to do these bold, wonderful things with their lives and their careers.
Yes.
And to be congruent, I had to look at my own life and
Right.
say, well, wow, what is it now that
you.
I'm doing? What's that next big thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was at the time when I, this restlessness was there. And really responding to that was when I said, okay, I'm ready for a big shift in my own life. I want to do something that's bold,
Yes.
that's exciting.
Yes.
And that led me to selling up in Europe. I mean, closing down everything,
Wow.
closing down my business, selling our home, getting my kids out of school, announcing to my husband, who had always said to me, don't ever ask me to leave Switzerland. By the way, darling, I have a different plan.
Wow.
And having to sell him on this plan, and really just, as I say, closing every door
Wow.
in my life that I've been building for, at that point, probably 21 years.
Holy mackerel.
So it was big.
That's huge.
It was huge.
That's
This wasn't just I'd been doing that for 18 months. I mean,
right.
this was
20
I
years.
had been in Switzerland at that point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 21 years.
Wow.
So it was major.
Yeah, and then not just leaving, an area to another area, completely
Yes.
another country, another
This was
culture.
Another continent. Now
Another
we're gonna live
continent.
8 hours difference. And I came here, I mean, in this gorgeous,
Yes.
valley that we live in.
Yes.
Not knowing anybody,
Oh,
no clients, no family, no support. I mean, this was a complete blank canvas.
Wow. Wow.
So that's where the sort of the be bold, play bigger.
Because you did it
grew
yourself.
out of that.
You
Because
experienced it first.
I experienced it first, and it was about saying,
Yeah.
being bold is about being courageous.
Yes, it is.
That's really what it is, and to go for what we really want in our
Yes.
lives, and to go with what's in our hearts, what's responding to those desires. The truth is, it takes courage.
Absolutely.
A
Really.
bucket loads.
Huge amounts of courage.
Bucket loads.
Truly.
Because
truly.
there's so much resistance.
Absolutely. Well, because you're going against all of the old, 20 years or 10 years or 5 years, it doesn't matter, of another pattern.
Yeah.
And so now you're, completely changing everything. I mean,
Everything.
for you, it really truly was everything. So that should give a lot of us some, motivation to say, okay, maybe mine is simply changing a job, but I'm
Yeah.
not having one and maybe starting a business or whatever that is, but at least the home, the family, or whatever is still intact.
I don't recommend that everybody has to do it my way. It just happened to be
Your
I'm
way.
gonna- that
Sure.
was my way.
Sure. Sure.
But the truth is whatever change we want to make, as I say, when we want to go for our dreams,
Yes.
go for gold,
Yes.
it takes courage.
It really does.
And this was about, at that time, this was about me wanting to play a much bigger game. I
Yes.
felt frustrated where I was at. I couldn't
Yeah.
see the path to get to where I wanted to go
Right.
from
Where
that
you were.
place. And yeah, so that started the whole be bold, play bigger, sort
Love
of
it.
movement within myself.
Yes.
Which of course I'm now bringing to the business
Absolutely, movement in the world. So that's really exciting, and I want to get a little bit deeper into, especially how you help people to be bold and play bigger and step up in the different areas that you really specialize in beautifully. So we will be right back with Vanessa Shaw. Don't miss Vanessa Shaw's The Big Bold event, January 23rd through 25th in Phoenix, Arizona. Vanessa Shaw, be bold, play bigger. And we are back with Vanessa Shaw, who's helping us all to step up, play bigger, and be bold. Be bold and play bigger. So, welcome back, Vanessa Shaw.
Thank you.
So excited because you've told us already of how you took these really huge steps in your own life and your business, and so your work has been powerful to do that with others as well. Yes.
Absolutely. So, I mean, for sure, I'm translating this now into the business world.
Sure.
And my real passion is working with smaller businesses. That's what I am.
Yes.
I've had to learn that from the inside out for myself.
Sure.
And I also know that one of the ways that we get to be bold and play bigger and sort of live life on our terms, if
Yes.
you like, is growing a successful business. It's the vehicle through which
Yes.
we can have that impact in the world, we can create the lifestyle that we want for
Yes,
ourselves,
yes.
that sense of freedom, have those choices.
Yes.
And it's really do it on our own terms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I was never somebody that, I've never had a corporate background and didn't do well in, big organizations. That's, not my ideal space.
Right.
And small business is really where I'm passionate about. But if we go to the passion piece, what I also see is that there's a lot of us that are very passionate about what we do and we
Yes.
want to make a difference.
Sure.
We don't always actually have the skills and the strategies that are going to help us to get there.
Very, very true. Very, very true. And that's where you come in. So what have you found, because, those three things, which I think are so key, there's the personal leadership, there's business strategy, but then there's the money mastery. And I think a lot of folks think that that's going to be a natural byproduct from the others. And it isn't always so, is it?
Often not.
Right.
Often not.
Yeah.
Which is why I've sort of like, I said, okay, we need to address this
Yes.
and really look at it.
Yeah.
And again, part of it does come from the mindset of, well, I'm passionate about what I want to do, so
Yes.
if I show up as passionate and enthusiastic, like success will follow. And unfortunately, for the majority of people, that's simply not the
true.
case.
That's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the whole.
It's a piece, it's most certainly not the whole piece.
Sure.
And yes, we need to have the right strategies, for sure. You know, we
Absolutely.
have to have a good plan. We need, the way we show up, how we conduct ourselves. You know, are we
Yes.
really a leader in the business? And are we establishing ourselves as a leader within our industry as well? And, you know, can we be accountable to ourselves and, you know, exceed at higher levels and, you know, raise our standards continually? That's the sort of,
Yes.
in a way, the personal leadership piece. We can do all of that and still not be making money.
Right. Right.
And we're not taught how to make money.
True.
I mean, nobody has, well, certainly in my life, nobody has ever
Most of us,
sat me down and said, hey, this is the way you actually go out and sort of generate income.
Yeah.
Because most of us have had the experience of a job.
Right. That's how we were trained. This
That's
is
how
how
we were
you get a
trained.
job. That's what we were trained in.
Yeah.
Not how do you generate income yourself.
Exactly. So for those of us that have gone now onto this entrepreneurial path,
Yes.
our experience of earning money before has been related to working a certain amount of hours, certain role that we fulfill,
Yes.
you know, showing up in a certain way. And then, and that certain way, by the way, whether you sort of have a longer coffee break or not, or you gossip
Right.
in the corridors, or
Yeah.
if you have an off week,
It's
the
all right.
paycheck
Still comes rolling in.
the paycheck still comes in. So in a way, what that creates with the entrepreneurs is now we have a disconnect.
Yes.
Because it's like, well, if I keep doing what I was doing over there and I do it over here, surely I'm going to get the same results.
Nope.
And it, as I say, it simply does
Doesn't.
not work that way.
True. Very true.
And I think the other piece, Orgena, that's really, really worth mentioning here is I work with a lot of people that really want to make a difference in the world.
Yes.
I'm a huge humanitarian at heart myself.
Yes.
You know, my background, as you know, when I lived in Switzerland, was many years ago now, is I worked for the United Nations.
Yes.
Hugely proud of that.
Yes. No.
Loved what I did. And as I say, I'm all about, you know, wanting to make a bigger contribution, pay it forwards and make a difference.
Yes. Huge.
Huge. And I think what we've got now is we've got this shift between, you know, on the one hand, I need to make money. We actually do need money in the world that we live in
That's
to survive.
That's
I mean,
where
after,
we live. That's how we live.
you know, sort of air and water and food, you know, and even food, try purchasing food
Right.
without money. And
Yeah.
It's really, you know, a
Yeah.
basic need.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, you know, we have to fulfill our own money needs
Right.
there.
Yes.
And we can make a difference because it's challenging to make a big,
Big difference.
when you're struggling yourself.
Exactly. When you're trying to keep your lights on and food on your table.
It's like the tank is empty, right?
Right.
You know.
Right.
So I think there's been, you know, there's a bit of a disconnect that's been happening whereby people go into business almost, I wouldn't say for the wrong reasons, but, you know, they're not perhaps crystal clear on why they went into business.
Yeah, and the bigger why, right? Because, you know, you started with some powerful things, which I think really is, you know, they are the motivating factors for many people to have their own business. They want the freedom of their hours. They don't want, you know, someone telling them what to do and all of these sorts of things. But, okay, but that's a piece. But what is the bigger? Because when you realize you're still, those pieces, those elements are still in place, those elements are still present in having your own business, what are you going to do, right? How are you going to still feel fulfilled when you realize you still have to have some structure in your day? You still need to work, you know, a certain number of hours and so forth. And it's not just on the hours, but it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
To be accountable with your time and so on. Those elements are still there, but now there's a bigger why in place.
Yeah, and I think that, again, you speak to, again, the bigger why, I think is often that motivator.
Yes.
Because, as I say, the reality is,
Yes.
A lot of people go into business saying, you know, I want to escape my boss, I
Right.
want freedom, I want this.
Right.
If I put my website up, once it goes live, you know, the orders are going to pour in.
Yeah.
Sorry, it doesn't work that way. I wish it did. It just doesn't. And having that bigger why gives us, you know, the meaning and purpose.
Exactly.
You know, very valuable reminder as to really why we do need to put in those hours to work as well.
Right, right.
Because it's not always easy. There's, in fact, probably, you know, far more tougher moments in
Yes.
the early years of a business than there are easier ones.
Right. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it and making lots of money with it, and that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Now, you really touch on, especially, you know, around the financial pieces, and there's with the money mastery. And I love this whole thing about generational programming that you speak about. So talk to us about that.
Well, again, and you know, a lot of my work is really, it's authentic from my own
From your
learning.
own experience, yes.
One of the things, again, I'm proud of and I stand by is I'm only teaching my clients what I know works.
Yes.
And what I've gone through myself
Yes.
as well. I'm never expecting them to do, you know, do
Do
anything
something
that
you
I
haven't.
haven't done because
Yes.
then I know that it works and what's involved.
Sure.
And certainly early on in my business, I'd had a big contract, been very fortunate, great deal. And then several years later, I lost it. There were some, you know, changes within the organisation that happened.
Sure.
But a couple
Yeah.
of things that I'd, you know, committed mistakes, if you like. I'd put all of my eggs in one basket and built my business
Around that.
around that. So I was incredibly vulnerable when I
Sure.
lost it.
Sure.
And secondly, I almost nearly went bankrupt. And it was like, well, how did that happen?
I was doing great, and
How
then
did
I
that
wasn't.
happen? You know, I
Right.
went from there and there. Like,
Yeah.
where's this huge disconnect?
Right.
And at the time, I can honestly say, you know, my head was it was in the sand around money. I wasn't
Yes.
paying attention. I thought this was easy. I was complacent. I wasn't serious about my money. I was avoiding an awful lot of aspects of the business
Okay.
because I didn't have the experience or the skills,
Right.
and I didn't have the right people guiding me and
Yes.
saying, you really need to look at this. But when I dug deeper into that, that's when I discovered that there was something that I was completely unaware of, and it's this piece around generational programming that I talk about.
Okay.
So in my particular case, the generational programming came up on two levels. So one is the entrepreneurial piece. We've touched on that a little bit. So for a lot of us, a lot of people that are in business, they've come from the corporate world or jobs and they've had structure.
Sure.
And so they really don't have a roadmap for what's involved for running a business and turning it into a lucrative business.
Right.
It's-
Key.
That's the key. And profits.
Yes.
Right? Like money left over. And so,
Yes.
and a lot of entrepreneurs, especially nowadays, you know, they're not coming from entrepreneurial families
Right.
either.
Right.
So again, they haven't had the experience of
Yes.
that. They're, you know, out there trying to work their way through it.
Navigate the wilderness.
Exactly, navigate the wilderness. There's a lot of information out there
Yes.
as to what they should be doing and shouldn't be doing.
Yes.
So on the one hand, we're not even, you know, that's a piece there. It's like the programming around entrepreneurship
Yes.
simply doesn't exist for a lot of us.
Very true.
We're actually paving that way.
Sure. Yes.
The other piece for me was that I'm a woman, as you may have noticed. And as a girl growing up in a male-dominated family, I also realized that generationally I had my own sort of money story that I had inherited.
Sure. Yes.
And this was all about, you know, I mean, again, there were lots of pieces to that, but essentially there was some, you know, inherited beliefs that
Sure.
I had just carried on
Absolutely.
from the generations.
Absolutely. And so many of us as
Yeah.
women received, you know, lots of messages, you
Yeah.
know, girls don't do this, the guys do this, men handle this, and, you know, you do this over here. And so there were absolutely these sorts of stereotypical things.
Very stereotypical. You know, the women stayed at home, they
Yes.
looked after the children, they didn't
Yes.
go out to work.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, and my own story was, well, I'm not good with maths, I'm not good with numbers, numbers are boring. Well,
Right.
they were boring because basically I wanted to avoid them like the plague.
Sure, sure.
And certainly there was, you know, women weren't successful in business. That's
Right.
just not
We didn't have that.
what we did.
Right.
and they certainly didn't earn the type of money that I was starting to earn.
Right.
And or was aspiring to earn.
Yes, yes.
So there were all of these conflicts there.
Sure.
And what I had to dig into was that, my own relationship with money was really not a healthy one.
Right. And I love that you're even using the term relationship with money, and I want to get more into that when we come back. So come back with us with Vanessa Shaw.
Don't miss Vanessa Shaw's The Big Bold Event, January 23rd through 25th in Phoenix, Arizona. Vanessa Shaw, be bold, play bigger.
And we are back with Vanessa Shaw, who is really taking us through a beautiful journey around money mastery and especially around generational programming, how to move through those things. So, Vanessa, I would love for you to just share with our audience something really tangible, something really specific that we can begin doing today to begin making some of those shifts to navigate that wilderness, but not have to do it alone.
Yeah, that's a great one. I think one of the places I love to start is, to say, really looking at the relationship that you have around money. And when we think about a relationship, I want you to think about the feelings and the emotions that a really healthy relationship brings up for you.
Any relationship.
Any, really
loving, wonderful relationship.
Something that's loving, that's supportive. It might be, sometimes it's even a wonderful animal. It's your, a lover, a perfect friend,
Yes,
or whoever.
Grandmother
exactly,
or whoever.
A very special person.
All right, beautiful.
And think about, again, the thoughts that you have around them. What immediately springs to mind, the sort of language that you use. And what are the emotions that also come up?
Okay.
So, for example, do you feel good? Do you feel supported? Do you feel joyful? Do you feel empowered? Happy? I mean,
Yes.
all of these things. Confident, perhaps. I know for me, being in a great marriage gives me a lot of confidence.
Sure.
For example.
Sure.
So it's to think about the emotions that come up around that relationship.
Okay.
And now switch that to money.
Ooh.
So it's like now you just that person, or that special entity
yes.
in your life. Now switch that to money, and do the same positive emotions and thoughts come up.
Ooh. Now I can
Typically
hear.
not. I know, it's like
It's like you can literally feel like, ooh. The head tilt. Yeah, exactly. Like, wait a minute, because I know that would press for a lot of people there a trigger, lots of triggers for people because we don't think in terms in those ways around money. We see many of us have lots of negative stories around that, around money.
And then just to take that a step further, it's like looking, I love to look at like the practical here. So if we think about this in terms of, think about a relationship that you really don't like in your life.
Okay.
That person.
So we're going to the other side now. So someone we're not crazy about.
Toxic,
Oh.
or is dysfunctional, or just they're a pain, right?
Ooh.
Whatever it might be.
Yes.
Think about how you act around that person. It's
Okay.
typically, again, a lot of internal chatter that's probably not the most positive.
Yeah.
You probably have quite a lot of avoidance strategies
Sure.
because something that we associate with negative,
Yeah.
we don't want to be around.
No, we close off,
And
avoid it.
We can, there's the neuroscience reasons for all of that, but we
Sure.
have these associations at an emotional level, and then we're going to avoid it.
Yes.
So
okay.
if you think about now the same thing with money, if you don't have a healthy relationship, it's you want to start to think about, wow, so what are all of the things related to money? And that might be the dealing with money, the managing it, as well as all of those aspects in your business that are actually going to bring money in. You probably are in a place of avoidance.
Avoiding. Ooh, that's powerful. That's good.
I know, right?
Oh, that's really.
I know. And then everyone
That's good.
says, oh my gosh.
Well, no wonder you don't have money. If you think something's not good or you have negative things or thoughts or feelings around it, you're not going to want to have that in your life. So poof, be gone.
So it's a lot of the money conversations that we have in business. You know, when we want to talk about our fees, make an offer to a client, have a sales conversation, which, by the way, is the only piece that actually brings money into your business. Those are places of huge avoidance.
Brilliant.
Huge avoidance.
Beautiful.
And that's typically, we're looking at really and truly what's going on beneath the surface.
Excellent.
Is a, you know, unhealthy relationship with money.
Excellent. Oh, I love that. I love that. Relationship. Again, it just takes it a whole different place. It is a relationship that we're having, whether we like it or not, whether we're conscious of it or not, we're having one. And we need to look at that. And so you have a wonderful tool to help people.
I do. So one of the things we put together was, I love checklists.
Yes,
because
me too.
I've always got so many things going on, and I actually love to know where I'm at.
Yes.
And like look at the gaps.
Okay.
It's like, okay,
what's left?
What's left?
Oh, good.
Because now it gives me a roadmap. So
Sure.
I put together, you know, I put this together for your audience
Oh,
too.
thank you. Wonderful.
And this is my income acceleration checklist.
Ooh, we like that.
So that, and this isn't specifically even looking at the aspect of the relationship with money, but rather, what are all those things that you would actually need to be clear on and be able to check off in your business so that you are going to be able to generate more income.
Great.
This is super, super practical.
Very practical, sounds,
and most people will say, well, I've got one or two of those things, Vanessa, the rest are missing.
Like what's one or two?
Gosh, well, I can tell you one that, in fact, one or two. I can tell you one that most people never, ever know, is I know my monthly expenses, both personal and professional, exactly. I know.
Yeah, right.
They go, I have an idea. I think it's
ish.
this.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Then there's things like, you know, I have priced my services based on the results that I achieve and not time. That's another one they go.
Gasp. Okay, these are juicy.
What?
Oh, these are good. These are great. Oh, that's going to be really, really helpful for a lot of people. Those are already huge.
They're hugely practical, but every successful business needs to know this stuff. I mean, these are really foundational steps.
This is the map. This is the map to navigate the wilderness, so you're not doing it alone and, you know, willy-nilly, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Good. Beautiful, beautiful. And you have also a wonderful, you know, extended kind of way to work with you to continue this kind of a journey, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I give what I call my fabulous free tips through my own, you know, e-zines and online blogs and things. So if the audience wants to go to vanessashaw.com, you can sign up there, and I like to think that I share my pearls of wisdom, but that's for you to decide. But, you know,
and they are.
And they are. And then as well, we have a brand new money breakthrough program.
Excellent.
Where clients can actually work through very practically their relationship with money, you know, making that shift.
Excellent.
And some very practical tools there. It's a very condensed program.
Beautiful.
But again, we want to make that offer to the audience so that people can really, you know, do the work, transform their relationship, and ultimately be able to make a much bigger impact in the world of business and the world around them.
Because that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
But we've got to do that work on ourselves, as you know, first.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Vanessa.
It's
really,
a
really.
pleasure.
Really powerful things that you've given today. And I hope you will run and not walk. We will, of course, have all of those links. You can look right on the website for Vanessa Shaw's beautiful free gift, as well as more information around the Money Breakthrough Program. So thank you again, and thank you all for being with us. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us today on our show. I really hope that there was something shared that really helps you shine your biggest and brightest light. Please stop by again, like us on Facebook, tweet us, all of those good things. And most importantly, please always remember, it's all about love.